What's up, everybody on YouTube? Welcome back to the prep series. This is the 16 weeks out prep vlog. Got some updates for you. Had multiple check-ins with my coach Justin since the last time we did this, so quite a bit to cover. I'm gonna kind of talk through what's going on in terms of the X's and O's of the prep. Give a little bit in terms of where my mind is at and just my own thinking as I went through kind of these different check-ins or phases. While I'm talking, I'm going to kind of show you guys my most recent fasted morning update. Today was a check-in day with Justin. So while I'm talking, I'm going to overlay how I looked this morning, and then I will eventually get to what he answered with and what he adjusted. At the end of the video, I have clips. Today I met with my posing coach. I've never had a posing coach. Truthfully, I think a lot of them are just full of BS. I think a lot of them say and do too much and try to make people feel like they are really making a difference. And I think a lot of times, on a very basic level, they don't even really know what they're looking at compared to someone that just coaches a lot of athletes. It's funny. I coach all these people. I've put all these different people on stage before. And it's amazing how often, after I see someone's physique the whole year, multiple times a week, almost every day at certain points of the process, someone gets a posing coach and the posing coach suggests something off the wall that makes the person look worse. And it's like, man, who do you trust more? You trust the person that's been bodybuilding for 15 years and sees you year round versus this guy that's got to make you feel like you got your money's worth for a 20-minute posing session. But with all that said, my buddy Mikey Lamkowski has been around bodybuilding forever, and I'm not even going to name names, but he's taught most of the people that are known as posing coaches everything they know, and he was never given credit for it publicly or online or anything like that. So that's a separate rant. I could go off on that, but I know Mikey originally from living in Texas and going to the Muscle Factory gym. And just a great person. Mikey's one of those people for me where I could go a year without seeing him or talking to him, and then when I see him and talk to him, it feels like him and I are family members, and we just pick right up where we left off. I think he just loves bodybuilding and he loves helping people so much. It shines through with how good of a communicator he is. So check him out, but I'm going to close the video with some of the clips of him walking me through certain poses. And in I think we did about 40 minutes. Man, there's a couple poses that I've been doing the same way for a long time. And in that short amount of time, he makes it look dramatically better. The back double bicep is one that stands out to me. For a long time, I think I probably was just over squeezing my glutes and pulling my hips too far forward, like in an effort to like really crank my glutes. And I hit it a couple times and he was like, man, it's just something is not right. And I obviously have my back squared to the camera. We're on FaceTime. And then he asked me to do something that no one else has ever thought to do. And he said, hey, do me a favor and turn sideways to the camera so I could see you square from the side and hit that pose and let me see what your hips are doing. And then I do it, and you see on camera, my hips are way forward, and then I'm leaned way far back. And for the past 2 years, I couldn't figure out why my legs look so good from the front and from the side, and then from behind they look just small. I'm thinking, is it hamstring work that I need to do? Is it adductor work that I need to do? And those things can never be big enough or too big. But he made me stand a little bit more upright and start with my hips a little bit further back. That way, when I do squeeze the glutes and I pull them under, they actually, where they finish is just square under me. So, I do that, and then all of a sudden you see all the leg thickness that I have, and it looks like my legs are 3 inches bigger. So that he kind of changed how I set the back double up in terms of just not doing a lot of squeezing. Like he wants me to set my arms, really rotate my shoulders back, and then he says, you get your hands out here almost like a crucifix, and he said, now bring your hands to your ears, but don't flex, and you just do this, and it flexes your arms for you, but without being like shaky and over flex. So I'll share those clips at the end. Prep wise, where I left off at, Justin had brought the diet up and told me to run it for 5 days to kind of slow down how fast my body weight was coming down. At the same time, he put some increased the clen to 40 micrograms. So I ran that diet for 5 days, and my weight came down 2 pounds. And honestly, at the time, I'm thinking he will probably just leave this here, since this has got me tracking down pretty good. And from what he saw, he ended up just reducing the diet a little bit, and I'll show that next update here. And he just wanted to ensure that the momentum continued. And the whole theme so far of this prep is like starting early, staying ahead of schedule. So he wanted to make sure that momentum continued. And I was totally good with it. It made total sense to me. So, he sent me that diet, and right now this kind of the standard procedure is, anytime he sends me a new update, follow it for 5 days and then check in, unless you drop more than 1.5 pounds. So if you drop 2 pounds, check in early. And so it took me about 5 days to lose those 2 pounds previously, so I didn't bother checking in early. This time he reduced that diet by just a little bit, and I lost 3 pounds in 2 days. So I checked back in with Justin, and he immediately brings the food up quite a bit, and then actually reduced the cardio. I had been doing 30 minutes 5 times a week, and he brought it back down to 25 and said, hey, run this for 5 days, and let's see how things go. At the same time, besides the cardio reduction, besides the food increase, he said, you know what, let's pull the clen out. And I actually asked him about including BAM15. BAM15 is one of these kind of newer peptides, I guess you could say, where it increases mitochondrial function. This is going to sound like more clickbaity or spicy headline than it probably is, but it's similar in action to DNP, just without the risk or scary aspects of it, of overdosing, the way that you can with DNP. So this is kind of like a more mild, safe version of that. And apparently coupled with the SLU that I'm running, this is supposed to really improve the efficiency of your cells and make it so that you're getting all of the result benefit of the effort that you put in. It's not like there's any wasted effort. So we did that, and I ran that diet, reduced cardio plan for 5 days, and my weight was exactly the same 5 days later. So I think at that point he's looking at it like, okay, we've kind of got back to baseline. We found what maintenance is. It's quite a bit of food. It's not all that much cardio to remain where he is. So then at that point he reduced the diet a little bit, put the cardio back at 30 minutes. Everything else stayed the same. And so that is that's the most recent update from him. I'll include that. That's the set of pictures that I took this morning. Besides that, I got a little, I wouldn't say antsy, but I've been wanting to kind of experiment with higher levels of growth hormone, because we tried it. I ran an experiment on myself in the off season where I did basically a bottle a day. It's like 15 IUs a day. And being in the off season, I was so heavy. I was eating so much food and retaining so much water. I couldn't really handle the carpal tunnel that came with it. I was only sleeping maybe an hour at a time, and then the pain in my hands would wake me up. So I let him know at the time. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to drop this back," and he's like, "Okay, like if you want, guys get away with this in contest prep because you're eating less, you're moving more, you're retaining way less fluid, you're leaner, you're lighter." So I kept that in mind, and I waited. We started at 23 weeks out. We're 16 weeks out now, and so I asked him. I was like, "What do you think about doing this now?" And he said, "Let's go for it." So I brought my GH up to 15 IUs a day. The way that I'm doing that is 5 fasted in the morning, 5 post workout, and then 5 before bed. And my thinking with that is to kind of spread it out. That way it doesn't like affect my hands so much right before bed. I normally would just do like a bolus dose before bed, but I think spreading it out will help. So those are all the changes. My mindset is good. It was encouraging to see how much food I'm eating and like either losing or holding my weight. I think this is the first time I've really seen the benefits that people talk about when people discuss prepping from a more muscular place than you've been before. And of course, on paper, it makes sense. Like you're more muscular, so metabolically, it's more demanding to, walk around and hold that tissue. But I think this is really the first year where I've just been, it seems like I'm super efficient and I'm just ripping through what I'm eating. So that's been encouraging. I think that's a really good sign. I still feel as though I'm in a really good place conditioning wise. I would say ahead of schedule. Training is awesome. Especially I went to a 2 on 1 off split, so it's just upper lower off and then repeat. And so having a rest day after every 2 training days has been good for me. My sessions are long. These are like big long sessions. So having that third day as a rest day every rotation has been good for me, and I still feel like I'm training as if I'm in the off season. I mean, I'm 250 exactly now, so that's 20 pounds down exactly from where I started the prep. Basically 30 pounds down from like peak off season. I was right around the 280 mark, but I'm still training and getting stronger as though I'm like dead in the middle of the off season. So. I think in general things are good, and that's really all the updates for now. So, check out these posing clips. They may help you in your own process, or you guys may find them interesting to kind of see some behind the scenes work that goes into competitive bodybuilding and eventually getting on a bodybuilding stage. And so check that out. And then next time you guys see me, I will be 15 weeks out. Thanks for checking it out. Front one's good. Okay, let's see if we can push that right shoulder. Yeah. Your right shoulder is a tendency of dropping a little bit lower than your left. Okay. So you want it like this, almost? Yeah. So this one that's away from the judges is down a little bit lower. Okay. Like stay real big in your pose. Okay. All right. Better. Already better. from that side perspective, hit your back like that. I just want to see like what your hips are doing. Okay, let's put the elbow like crucifix and just, yes, shoulders up a little higher, rear delts a little higher. Now let them pull out. You need to take those thumbs back to me and keep fucking cranking them hard. All right. Like your thumb's gonna keep turning back. It's almost like you're trying to turn your thumb upside down. I gotcha. It's gonna